Tell me if this sounds familiar. You hit a big business goal, maybe a revenue number or launching a new course, and instead of celebrating, you immediately move on to the next thing without acknowledging it. Today, we're going to talk about why that needs to stop, and I'll share the exact system I use to make celebrations a strategic part of my business growth. You're listening to the Productive Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Tonia Kendrick, and I'm on a mission to help online business owners like you focus on the right things and take imperfect action. Every week, you'll get my best tips on everything from time management and content creation to planning effectively and managing mindset issues, all in an effort to help you become more productive. So let's jump into this episode. Let me tell you what happened to me just last week. I was checking my email list metrics, something I do every Sunday morning with my coffee, when I realized I'd hit a milestone I'd been working toward for months. You know what I did? I literally just checked it off my to-do list and started working on that day's podcast episode. That's when it hit me. We need to talk about how we're celebrating our wins as online business owners, or really how we're not celebrating them at all. Here's the thing about running an online business, especially when you're a solopreneur. It can feel a little isolated at times, right? There's no office party when you hit your quarterly goals. No team high fives when you launch a successful program. It's just you and your laptop powering through your to-do list. Last summer, I hit a major milestone with my membership. It was one of those round numbers that ends with multiple zeros, you know what I mean? But instead of celebrating, I immediately started worrying about membership retention. But then I said to myself, okay, we're not going to worry about that. We're going to take the win. And so I forced myself to take a day off to celebrate. And you know what happened during that forced celebration day? While I was lounging by the pool, completely relaxed for the first time in months, I got 3 incredible ideas for new membership content. That's when it hit me. Celebration isn't just about feeling good and relaxing. It's actually a powerful business strategy. Let me drill down into why this matters so much. Think about what happens in your brain when you achieve something and actually take time to accomplish it. You get this lovely dose of dopamine, which feels amazing, but it does something even more important. It motivates you to achieve your next goal. It's like putting premium fuel in your success engine. I learned this the hard way during my first year in business. I was going full steam ahead, constantly pushing for the next big thing because that's what I do, and I never paused to celebrate. By month 9, I was completely exhausted, close to burnout, and actually considered quitting. Now I know better. Regular celebrations are like reset buttons for your entrepreneurial energy. So let me share my complete celebration system with you. The exact one I use in my own business. I've broken it down into practical strategies that work for online business owners, especially when you're working from home and don't have a team to celebrate with. First up is what I call the wins jar system. Now stay with me here because this is going to sound super simple, but honestly, it's made a profound difference in my business. Every Sunday when I'm doing my weekly review, I spend a few minutes writing down my wins for the week, and I put them in a jar. Sometimes they're big things like launching a new course or hitting a revenue goal, but more often they're those small wins we tend to overlook. Things like getting an unexpected testimonial from a student, or finally figuring out how to automate that annoying tech task that's been bugging you for weeks. Let me tell you what happened when I first started this practice. I was having one of those weeks, you know, the ones where nothing seems to be moving forward fast enough. I sat down to write my wins and struggled to think of anything worth noting. But I made myself write down even the tiny things. A sweet comment from a student. Finally fixing that glitch in one of my email automations. getting through my whole content calendar for the week. When I read those wins back 3 months later, I was shocked. All those small moments had added up to massive progress I hadn't even noticed. It completely changed my perspective on what's worth celebrating. Now, you could write these down in a journal or a log, but the beauty of the wins jar is that when you're having a tough day, you can reach into the jar and pull out a few examples to read, and that pumps you back up. Now let's talk about something I call celebration triggers, because if you're anything like me, you love having systems in your business, so why not create a system for celebrations? Here's what I do. I've set up specific triggers that automatically prompt me to celebrate. For instance, every time my membership hits a revenue milestone, I automatically put 5% into what I call my celebration fund. This isn't just a random splurge fund. It's built into my business model as a necessary expense. Because here's the truth. If we don't plan for celebrations and we don't plan to fund them, they won't happen. I remember when I first started doing this, I felt guilty about setting aside money just for celebrations. But then I realized something powerful. When I knew a celebration was coming, I actually worked more efficiently. Knowing this little reward was waiting for me actually helped me focus better on getting there. The same goes for project completion milestones. Every time I finish creating a new course, I treat myself to a pedicure. That might not seem like a big deal, but it's something I would put off because I don't want to waste the time. So by building it into my system, I kill two birds with one stone. Now let's talk about how to celebrate when you work from home. Because let's be honest, popping champagne alone at your desk isn't exactly the most exciting celebration, right? This is when you need to think outside the box. I've started doing my monthly CEO days out of the house. Once a month, I pack up my laptop and I head to my favorite cafe. I order the fancy coffee that I never make at home and never get any other time of the month. Put on my celebration playlist. Yes, I have a specific playlist just for these days. And spend the morning reviewing what's working in my business. It's become a fun ritual that I actually look forward to all month. But celebrations don't have to be solo affairs, even if you work alone. Maybe you have a group of business besties. You could have virtual champagne toasts over Zoom when someone hits a big milestone. It might sound kind of cheesy, but there's something powerful about having people who truly understand what those achievements mean celebrating with you. Here's another idea. Documenting your celebrations can actually become content for your business. When something great happens in your business, share it with your audience. Maybe you share the behind-the-scenes story with your email list or on Instagram, not in a braggy way, but in a here's what I learned and here's how you can apply it way. People love behind-the-scenes content. Now let's talk about making this sustainable, because if it's too complicated, we know we won't stick with it. I've learned to match the size of the celebration to the achievement. You don't need to rent out a beach house every time you get a positive testimonial, though wouldn't that be fun? Instead, think about what really fills your cup. For me, sometimes it's as simple as taking an afternoon off to kick back and read a novel by my pool or by the fire in winter. Other times, it's treating myself to that new course I've been eyeing or upgrading my home office setup. The key is to choose celebrations that actually feel celebratory to you. Let me share one of my favorite recent celebrations. I'd been eyeing this new teleprompter and some other AV equipment to level up my course and summit recordings. Instead of just buying it right away, I decided to turn it into a reward system. I set a specific milestone target for my membership and promised myself I'd invest in this equipment when I hit it. You know what happened? Having that concrete reward to work toward actually made me more focused and strategic in my actions. When I finally hit the milestone and ordered that equipment, it felt so much more meaningful than if I'd just bought it outright. It wasn't just a purchase, it was a celebration of reaching my goal. And here's the really cool part. That mindset shift turned what could have been just another business expense into something that actually motivated me to grow. Now I try to set up similar reward systems for myself regularly. It's become this powerful way to combine business investments with celebrations, and it makes both feel more purposeful and satisfying. Here's what I want you to do after listening to this episode. First, grab something to take notes. Maybe it's that pretty notebook you've been saving for something special, or pull up a note-taking app on your phone or tablet. Start by thinking about what makes you feel truly celebrated. Maybe it's treating yourself to a massage, or upgrading your office chair, or taking a day off midweek just because you can. Write these down. These are going to become your go-to celebrations. Next, look at your business goals for the next quarter. For each goal you've written down, decide right now how you'll celebrate when you achieve it. And yes, I said when, not if, because I believe in you. Then, and this is crucial, schedule a weekly win review. I do mine every Sunday morning, and it's an important appointment with myself to acknowledge everything I've accomplished that week, no matter how small it might seem. Before I wrap up, I want to leave you with this thought. Celebration isn't self-indulgent, it's self-investment. It's not just about the moment of joy, though that's wonderful too. It's about building sustainable success habits that will carry you through your entire entrepreneurial journey. So here's my challenge to you. Celebrate something today, right after this episode ends. It doesn't have to be huge. Maybe you finally figured out that tech issue that's been bugging you. Maybe you got a nice message from a client. Whatever it is, take a moment to really acknowledge it. And hey, before you go, pat yourself on the back for taking the time to listen to this episode. That's already one step toward building better celebration habits in your business. I'll be back tomorrow with Crafting a Vision, the first step in strategic planning. Until then, and before you go, if you like what you hear on the Productive Entrepreneur podcast, then come check out the Organized Business Toolbox. It's my monthly membership for solo entrepreneurs who want to feel in control and take imperfect action to move their businesses forward. When you join, you'll get instant access to the Training and Resource Vault, and a new toolbox or course drops every month. Plus, we have monthly Voxer office hours where you can privately ask me questions and get my direct feedback. If that sounds like something you need, the link is in the show notes, or visit ToniaKendrick.com, and I'll see you on the inside.